right, so welcome back to Cartoon Chores. Steve Jennings here, and from Grasshorse Studios, and we got a little bit different of an episode here today. We're going to be looking at some work done by a friend of mine, Jefferson, who's a sculptor. He's in my life drawing group, and he makes these amazing sculptures. And so he's wanting some help putting together some of his materials. He's his materials to then show on Instagram or on Facebook or something like this. And so he's kind of wanting an idea of how he should put the material out there. And so I thought, okay, that's cool. I can help with that. And you know what? This is pretty rad just to begin with. To see this kind of stuff is super awesome. So anyway, very, very cool, Jefferson. So we're going to go through and look at some clips that he has of time lapses, and just fairly quickly go through them, play through them a bit here. I imagine there might be audio. I don't know. Wow. This is pretty exciting here. Okay, cool. And so I haven't looked at all of these. I've just I looked at the beginning of them saying, okay, I wanted to see what it was he was working on. And so he has a lot of these clips. Can I just, power through them? Cool. Of him going through and sculpting different pieces, and I believe that this one is the boot shoe. The boot shoe. The boot house. So, first off, I think that some of these clips are just good little clips in themselves to go on Instagram by themselves. They're like, they're time lapses, and they show the progress, and I think that having these things go together as a companion pieces, like daily releasing one of these things. You've got like 28 different clips here. You could release one of these things a day, or as you're working on it. I know that you're probably going through and I'm gonna kind of go through this video as if I'm talking right to Jefferson. It might sound a little bit strange how I'm doing that, but that's the way I'm gonna think through it. And so I would say that first off, making clips like this and just sharing them out there like this is going to get some enthusiasm and some people enjoying your work. So now first off, you can see that the clip is an AVI, or you can't see that, but I can see it, that these have all been made as AVIs. I wouldn't suggest using AVIs to capture with. I'd say if you can, make them MP4s and make them H.264 compression. And so that way you can just upload them much easier to different social media sites and YouTube and things like that. I believe you probably can upload AVIs to YouTube, but I remember when I was learning about uploading to Instagram, you couldn't upload AVIs to Instagram. That may have changed, but in terms of what I remember, that's what it was. And so I just find it a good habit to create everything with MP4s and H.264 compression, unless it's like raw material that we're going to then use to edit. Now the quality of these are pretty good. Some of the framing is off a little bit here, we could for like Instagram and stuff like that, this would work great. Resolution-wise, make sure that you have enough resolution with the imagery. I don't know if this is HD or not. It looks like it's HD, but when we push in to make this more to make it to frame it a little bit better, I think we'll lose some of this imagery over here, and we will end up seeing a little bit of resolution increase and some artifacts of that. Super cool. All right, well, it doesn't hurt just to maybe hop into Blender, and I'll try and run through some of the basic commands in Blender. Blender is freely downloadable online. I think it has a fantastic editor. Not everybody likes the editor, but for animation, oh man, I don't think there is a better editor for animation. And it's because how easy it is to go through and update your clips as you're working on things. But if you're on a budget, and most artists are, having open source software that you're working with, that's awesome. All right, so the first issue is I tried to import it as an image strip, and it's not. It's a movie. A movie desktop. Documents, boot house. Can we pull them all in at once? One big shot. Hot dog. There we go. And you can see that it's pulled everything in. One clip after the other. It looks like it goes on for 10.5 minutes, which is not bad for putting that into YouTube. My suggestion is always something around 5 to 8 minutes. I know for when you're making shorts for film festivals, that's definitely what they want. But short is not bad. 11845. I'm going to make the whole length of the clip. Make all of it. That's not far enough. And it says 2 frames a second. I wonder if he had those at 2 frames a second. I'm going to do just a little quick Control Z and take it back to see if it went. Yeah, it sure did. So he was shooting this at 2 frames a second, obviously. So this tells you what frame you're currently on. So if you do 125, 12521, boop, we have the entire range of the shots all the way through. When I am working in editing, I like to just bring the properties menu right here. That way I can change the size and resolution of things and change some of these pieces here. All right, so let's go back to the beginning. And let's see if we can tighten up some of these clips here. Now it's saying that I went ahead and changed it to 24 frames a second. It could be 23.98. I mean, it was at some custom range before, but I think we should change it to that. So this is the beginning of that. Starts this slab. This probably, I would go right from cut from here. Like, let's cut into here. So, A, escape. look real quick here. Yeah. Okay, so I'm just going to cut it off at the end of this shot here. I can hit K, and it trims it right there. I can select this, hit X. Okay, when you're selecting in Blender, it's not a left-click select, it's a right-click select. By default, you can change that in your preferences. But I'm going to do a right-click on that. I'll hit X, erase strips. I'll go back to this one here, and I'm going to, I'm just using the left and right arrows. I'll do a right arrow here to go to the first frame of black. Right-click the next clip, Shift S, and it snaps the next clip to this current clip. Okay, and we're going to watch this. Cool. That all looked good. And so select the next clip, snap it to here, and let's take a piece at it, take a peek at it. Now let's look at what those look like compared. Okay, cool. There's a little bit of a cut there, but that's great. That's not going to bother anyone, I don't think. All right, so I'm doing I hold the control key down, and the middle mouse wheel scrolls it back and forth. If I hold shift, it goes up and down and tracks. Was it Alt? Alt does the playhead, and Alt shift, which is the zoom in, zoom out. Okay, nothing. Just scroll wheel by itself zooms in and zooms out. Okay, and Blender stores their video files as and audio files in just. I think there's a layer nature here, but you don't have to keep. Like, you can mix your video and audio files together as your, throughout your timeline here, and that is something that's kind of unique about Blender's tool. It takes a little bit of getting used to for some folks. I can't remember if the layers stack this way. I think they do, like most editing softwares do. So there's a little bit of a clip there that we can probably cut out a little bit of that. So we're going to do a K here, and we'll go to the next one where he comes back in. Right click, K, right click this, X, erase strips. Go back to here, first frame of black, right click another clip, Shift S, snap it to here. Alt A to playback, and it's Alt A to stop. Oh my goodness. Here we go. All right. First frame of black, right click, Shift S, Alt A. And since I think these are great time lapses. I don't think you need to go any quicker than this. And so I would definitely think about, once we've gone through and edited this whole thing down into what we consider like a YouTube, like I'm considering the one we're doing right now, maybe a YouTube version. We might do a little bit of like, and I know that right now we're dealing with it as if they're 1920 by 1080 clips. I didn't actually check the actual resolution on these clips. Let's check that real quick while I'm thinking about it. Right click, you're gonna do an open with VLC media player. It's a freely downloadable media player online. And I don't know if it's open source or not. I think it is. But what's great about it is you can go this, pause, view, or is it tools, codec information. And so go to the codec information, I'll pull it over here. Okay, so video resolution is 1280 by 720. All right, so immediately I'm gonna take down the resolution on this to 1280 by 720. Because we get no benefit by this being a higher resolution than our source media is at. So we might as well have a nice smaller file. We may ups-res the clip that goes to Instagram later on, just so it's 1080 by 1080. I think that's the preferred resolution for Instagram. But anyway, back to the playback, Alt-A to play. And yeah, I can hold control. I can do the scroll wheel as we're going through. Yeah, I was telling Jefferson about how, oh, you can also hold G for grab and just move it around by hand if you want. About how I've been doing live streaming, and I don't think his process, he was saying that he didn't feel his process could be necessarily live streamed so well because he doesn't talk so much. Well, I don't really talk a whole lot either when things get a little bit more complex. But if you folks think he should be live streaming, I think he should be. I would encourage him to do so. I think you should comment away. So I'm just repeating the same commands. Alt-A to play, find first frame of black. And honestly, I'm so, when Jefferson was talking about this, he's like, I don't know if I did it the right way or whatever. I think he did a great job. This is like really interesting content. Framing wise, yeah, we can work on the framing. But man, this content wise, dude, I'm totally into this. Okay, we're gonna pause that, cut rid of that chunk out. Keep that. Okay. There we go. So Alt-A to stop, and I'm just backing up to about here. Right click. Okay. X to cut that. Let's Go back here to the first frame of black. Right click this clip, Shift S, Alt A. And my goal here is to show Jefferson how, the actual process of how you go through and combine this so that he can do more of these. I want to bring back real quick. Where was that? Bring back that you should totally check out. I kind of gleamed over this pretty quickly, but on Instagram, you can find his work at Jefferson's Art, plural, and how rad all of this stuff is. Really, really cool. Shift S. Back up, Alt A to play. Okay, cool. Control scroll wheel, right click, Shift S, snap to playhead, Alt A to play. Alt A to play. And I think they use the A as like kind of like a playhead shape. I don't know why they chose Alt A. I think that's why. Kind of looks like a sideways playhead. You can actually purchase some of Jefferson's art at the Cedar Rapids Museum of Art in, of course, Cedar Rapids, Iowa. And so he has works for sale up there. I'm not sure if he has an Etsy account. I believe he might. I think we'll cut all this out, cut this part out. X. That was K for cut. X to erase the strips. Control scroll wheel to go to the next clip. Right click. Shift S. Alt A. Okay, control middle scroll wheel. Right click this, Shift S to snap it there, Alt A. Okay, control scroll wheel. And go one more frame, there we go. Shift S, move that there. The cool part about this too is that you can go G1, G10, right? You can if you type in numbers, it'll actually in with G, GX minus 11. It'll actually move it. You can move the clip around. GY2, you can move it up 2 layers. GY minus 2. Alt A to play again. All right. Shift S. Oops. Ooh, what the heck was that? I think I hit the wrong buttons or something. Okay. Okay, cool. There's that. Right click, Shift S. There we are. Alt A. Control scroll wheel, right click, Shift S, Alt A. Control scroll wheel. It's cool to see how he's putting the bracing in there to hold the roof. Basically, you know, making joists. Control scroll wheel, right click, Shift S, Alt A. Okay, Control scroll wheel, Shift S, Alt A. I think it's kind of cool. There might not be as much content there, but I think that's still neat. In terms of things, it's just kind of motion and flickering and flashing and all that stuff. Cool. Yeah, I like that. It's a weird little clip. Control scroll wheel. Up. Now that holds a little bit long there. Alt A to stop. We're gonna go back here. Alt A. Alt A. Okay, so once it rotates, give it a couple frames. I'm gonna hit K. Alt A. I want that hand to come in and grab it. We'll cut there. Oops. K to cut. X, delete. Go back here. Right click, Shift S, Alt A. Cool. It would be pretty cool, you know, Jefferson, to just go ahead and, you know, narrate over this as you're talking about all the different pieces you're doing there. And I'm seeing all kinds of like how you're scoring the different pieces of clay to you know, to connect them, and you're wetting the clay down and all this stuff. You got the spray bottle there. Okay. To cut, anytime. Alt A. Back up. Okay. X, erase strips. Right click. Shift S. I'm going to save this real quick. Right into Documents, Boot House. Just because Blender's acting a little laggy. I'm doing some of its operations there, so I don't want to bomb at this point and start all over again. Alt A to play. I'm gonna control scroll wheel and just stay along at the playhead as we're going. That was probably long enough we could cut some of that out. That was kind of a nice one though, just to sit and look at it for a little bit. I like the length of that hold actually. I'm gonna maintain that. It is so neat to watch this rotating as you're working on it, and that aspect of it. It's cool. You get a really dimensional feel for it. Shift to S, Alt A. Alt A. Real short clip. Alt A. Control scroll. Shift S. Let's look at all that. Alt A. That's cool. Rad. Cool. Control scroll wheel. Let's go to the first frame of black. Whoop. That's actually kind of cool little camera move right there. I like that. All right. Shift S. Alt S. Alt A, I'm sorry. Haha, cool. Seeing all those little shingles popping on there, that's awesome. What'd be cool is if you actually had like actually add a camera mount to your turntable, and so that maybe it would stay fixed as you're rotating it around, and so it stays fixed to your sculpting. That would be rad. Especially when you're watching all those shingles pop on there and you're seeing this background spinning. That would be so cool. Nope. That's a little bit long to hold on to that. Let's just cut a bit off that. Control scroll wheel. Oop, that's it. That's super rad. I wonder if I can grab off your site that you have completed side of that there. You got the rotation. How rad is that? So awesome. All right, well, I was hoping that there was an image here that maybe we could end on an image that you took of it, but this is something that, you know, on your end, you probably need to do. Looking at this, we cut a bit off of it. It's still going to be a little long. So this is 12139. 12138. I believe I did not. Oh, I did escape. G. 12176. Cool. How long is that? That is, looks like it's about 8.5 minutes long. Just under 8.5 minutes. Rad. Look at the table back there going as you're like, as the water's creeping across the table. Or I guess it's drying. That's so rad. All right, so shift middle mouse select allows you to move the clips around. Weird. I don't know what happened here, but it looks like I clipped off the beginning of a shot. So I'm going to hit A to select everything. I'm going to hit G, X. I'm going to pull it forward. And then we're going to go look at the first frame and make sure that we're not trimming anything off there at the beginning on accident. Cool. I'm a little hesitant to go much further in the edit because one is I want to make sure it's something that's maintainable for you to do, and two, there are aspects of this piece that I would like to do reframing and stuff like that. And if I were in like Final Cut or Premiere, I'd just be going through and just starting to adjust some of these clips. Now, if I go back to video editing, let's go to UV editing somewhere else, and go back to video editing. It shows this. In terms of repositioning these shots, reverse, deinterlace, X flip, Y flip, duration, image offset, image crop, whoops. That's clearly too much. Wow, trippy. That was wild. All right, so this is funky because it is I don't want to have to go through and do the math. To crop that clip to get it right. I could. I mean, it's not that hard. To crop that, but that's I don't know. I'll do a little Google search here. All right, Shift A. It's saying add an effect strip. And so we can abstract alpha over, so doing compositing stuff, Gaussian blur, multiply. You can add text over top of it. Transform, color, speed control, multicam, selector, adjustment layer. Ooh, what's an adjustment layer do? So I'm going to go to here. It's probably transform, but and so if I just select this the back part of that clip there, like just the one arrow or the other, I do a Shift S, whoop, it does like that. So now you got an adjustment layer here. What are you going to do? Okay, that's not going to work. It looks like a compositing type of layer. So we're just going to do transform. Oops. Transform. There's that. I've got this selected. Go over here. We can do uniform scale. Let's go to like where you're working on it, where Jefferson's working on it, and we will scale it up. And again, we're going past 1 so that this is going to start to introduce some pixelation. So I've scaled it up to, like, let's say 1.4. And then we're just going to position it all the way screen left until until screen right is right on the frame. So let's take a look at that. That's probably too big. 1.3. Because we were losing 1.2. That's going off the top of your frame too. All right. Well, let's not lose the top of that clip. So it's a little bit more center punch. I don't want to cut off. I mean, cutting off your work is even worse than having the framing incorrect. You know what? That's not bad. Having it right center in the work, that's cool. This shot's fine. I like that shot. We could do a 1.1. I'm going to go to more of the end of the shot where you're doing more of the work over here. Let's 1.5. .6. Trying to keep this kind of on the third. Cool, that'll work. I'm gonna try and do these numbers over here. So this is a 1.1 scale. Uniform scale, 1.1, 4.83, negative 4.7. Let's see how it looks. Okay. I see the problem is that this somehow I did some sort of key command that sent this all the way to the beginning of this. We can see it's 264 frames long, and this is clip 16. And so I'm going to select both of these, hit G. You can see it's 264. Control, scroll, G, and there actually is a 16 already down here, so I'm going to just hit X up. Nope. G, and I will GX minus 1, GX. X erase strips, GY minus 1 to grab and move it down one layer. So for certain, we can 1.6 come in on this part quite a bit. And GX minus 264 to take it back to frame 1, because we knew it was that clip we pulled out was 264 frames long. Alt A, let's play it. Alt A. I'm going to take this down to 1.5. See if we can get by that. Put that in the center there, 1.4. Yeah, that'll work. Okay, so essentially this modifies the clip underneath it, right? This transform effect. And I wonder if I can Shift D. No, I can't. I was hoping I could apply that to over here, like copy these settings to this one. Shift A. I don't think it works that way though. So this is 1.4 and it's 1965. Negative 8.09. See what that looks like. Yeah, that's not right. It was negative 1965. Okay. Do I have to be? I'm going to test this to see if I have to be. I don't. Cool. So this is 1.4. Negative 19.65. Negative 8.09. Alt A. Groovy. Shift A. Transform. 1.4. Negative 19.65. I got a little crazy. See if we can do it. I should probably save it before I start going nuts like that. This is cool. Yeah, that's rad. I want this to be like 1.6 though. Like, let's take it all the way over we can. And if you had a GoPro and you shot this 4K, which, you know, that's not unusual. You can get probably a used GoPro on eBay for, you know, a steal at this point. And you could do your time lapses in 4K and do all this, you know, more fine-tuned framing all in Blender, just like this. And you would have plenty of resolution. So like right here, if we went into 100% resolution, you're going to see that there's quite a bit of you know, pixelation there. But pixelation versus bad framing, well, it's, you know, it's a toss-up. Lots of people won't notice the pixelation. They might not notice the bad framing either, but more than anything, I'm hoping also that you, as you see me going through and doing this, you're going, okay, that's how, you know, that's kind of how we should be framing it. Okay, so this one, I'm going to take it down a little bit because you've got a little bit more centered in the screen. So cool, let's look at that again. Negative 1473. Or is that 37? I'm in 37. Nope, 73. Negative 8.54. Okay. So you change the camera a little bit here. We're going to take it up so that we're not seeing so much of the cool. All right, so we need to can we get by with maybe doing this? For sure. It's rad. Yay. Shift A. Transform. This is 1.3. Let's try 1.3 here also. And it's 1473. Negative 1473. Oop. Negative 14.73. Alt A. Cool. All right, so this one here, we're going to scale it up a little bit more again. Let's do 1.4. We had it at 1.4, negative 19.73 before. Oops. Come on. Negative 19.73. All right. Let's just do a little bit more. 1.5. Cool. Alt A. I'm not going to go past 1.6. I actually like that framing with the house and the plant here. To use a fancy word, to get the whole gestalt of the piece. All right. And plus, we don't want to chop off the top or the bottom of the boot house. So while it's playing, I'm just kind of looking in the corner of my eye. On the next one, deal is we're going to have FF MPEG, RGB. Okay, that framing is gone. I don't know what we're going to do though, because that's like taking up the whole frame. So there's not much we can do there. H.264 and MP4 is what we're going to have. We're going to do perceptually lossless quality. I don't really care about speed, how long it takes. That's cool. So, I'm going to find this here. Documents. Here we go. The boot house underscore edit underscore version 001 dot MP4. And Alt4. Play through all of it and make sure we got that one. Maybe, hold on a second here. I can tweak that one a bit. I can tweak that a bit. That one I can't. That one I can't. That I can, a little bit. That one I can't. It's that roof. That roof, when the roof comes towards camera, it just goes, you know, because there's perspective, it's just almost wants to go right off the top of the screen. You can try 1.1. Push it up a little bit. We're losing the bottom of the boot. me crazy, but when you're in there tight, it actually might be good to go in much tighter on this one because you're going through and doing all that detail with the hatching and everything. So that's kind of cool to pop in there and see all that. Yeah, we're going to leave that one. Cool. So 12175. Now, you can go in here too and do a Shift A and go in there and select text and have, I suppose you can have it go. Right click that, Shift S, go to the end, right click, Shift S, click on this, and let's say like, the end, then down here you'd write, the end. You can place it, etc. To do something like that. You can change out the font, I think, also. Maybe not. I guess not. Or, of course, bring in your own clip. I don't usually use the titles in Blender, except for like if I'm making slates or something like that. I would rather use a tool that has, strong graphic design abilities. And in your case, heck, I think it'd be cool just to do something out of clay. Do your title in clay, and that would be neat. The beginning and the end, right? Maybe you just reuse the same end one all the time, and you make a different one for your title. So, really, I think that's pretty good for your YouTube one. I'm going to actually put in the name here, YouTube. And it's going to make an FFmpeg video. I have it set up for the containers in MPEG 4 with H.264 compression. It's perceptually lossless, meaning that any compression that's there, it shouldn't affect the image quality. And then medium speed wise, I'm not really worried about how long it takes to render out. Other than that, we can go and make a Instagram version too, but essentially for the Instagram version, I basically strip all these away and make this 1080 by 1080 and then crop off the sides. Do something like that. So anyway, I think that's pretty much it for this video, and I hope it's helpful, Jefferson, and just super awesome work. I'm a fan, and just go back and check out your work again. Jefferson's art. He's on Instagram. You can check out his website here. He's following Grasshorse, and he's following Puppet Justice far out. And yeah, just really neat works. I believe that they've been exhibited in the airport. I'm not sure if they are right now or not. And they're also for sale in the Cedar Rapids Museum of Art. So if you're in the area and you're going to the museum, check it out. They're really incredible works. So hope the video is helpful and cool. And I hope it helpful to you, Jefferson, and also to other folks that want to, edit in Blender, which I think is it's a great tool. I hate it when people feel that they can't be creative because they can't afford the tools. And it's a very this system here is I don't say it's a modest system. It's a good system, but it's not a crazy high-end workstation either. It's good quality, so just get out there and make stuff. Okay, cool. Well, anyway, thank you for checking out the video. If you like the content, please share, like, and subscribe. And until next time, keep making awesome stuff. Cool.